Hi guys, it's Beth. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk about the Audemars Piguet pieces that were released for the 50th anniversary. So that's the 50th anniversary Royal Oaks. As you guys know, we are in 2022 and it is the 50th anniversary of the Royal Oaks. So in celebration of that, AP released a bunch of new pieces that are just absolutely stunning. It honestly feels like a slaughter of APs, but in a really good way. I was actually at a private appointment to see some of these pieces in person. So at my appointment last week, I got to see them, try them on, play with them, just see them in person, which really makes a big difference from seeing them from stock images. There weren't all the pieces, and keep in mind, I was not allowed to film, unfortunately, at the appointment, so I only have photos for the most part, but for the pieces that I do have and have seen, I will include them on the screen, but for the others, I'll just include the photos that are for the most part stock images, but you'll be sure to see all the pieces from the 50th anniversary Royal Oaks. Before we get started though, I want to show you guys what I'm wearing on my wrist, and I'm wearing my first FP Journe. I have yet to reveal her on this channel, but she's going to do a sneak peek here. It's my Elegante. So it's my Elegante in a 40mm titanium case with 12 rows of diamonds. I have it currently on this green khaki strap, which I love so much. She's a white dial as well. She's my first FP Journe. She was actually the first FP that I would love to add to my collection, so it was just perfect, and I'm wearing her today. And if you didn't notice, I have a bit of a scenery change just because I'm currently on a bit of a winter getaway, but let's go ahead and talk about these APs. Alright, so I first want to mention what's so special about these pieces in the first place. Everybody's saying 50th anniversary. Okay, what does that mean? Obviously, it is the 50th anniversary for AP, for the Royal Oak, and that means there's a new movement and a new caliber. So for all of these pieces, they are moving up in movement. So instead of the 15500, it is now the 15510. Instead of the 15450, it is now the 15550, and etc, etc. So new movements, new calibers. One. There are also 50th anniversary stamps on the case backs. I believe all, correct me if I'm wrong, but all, if not most, of the Royal Oaks this year will have 50th anniversary on the rotor, on the case back, which is pretty cool. You'll see that in a second. Very, very big distinction. There's also a bit of a logo change on some of the Royal Oaks. I wish I brought my Royal Oak on this trip, but on the dial of the watch where it says AP Audemars Piguet, on the old versions, it would have a bit of a shadow behind Audemars Piguet. These newer versions have no shadow, so it's a bit more blended and to me a bit cleaner. I was also told the cases for these Royal Oaks are a little bigger. Not so much where I noticed personally, but they are stated to be a little bigger, not by much though. And lastly, the bracelets on these Royal Oaks, which everybody loves Royal Oaks for, the bracelets are actually tapered, but from the side. Meaning if you view them, this is really awkward. I have a strap on, but if you view them from side on versus from flat, I'll include some photos, but you'll see what I mean. The bracelet tapers and gets smaller along the side. Those are all the changes for the 50th anniversary Royal Oaks that I just wanted to mention. Let's go on ahead and see these pieces. Alright, so we're going to first start off with one of my favorite new releases, which are the new 37mm Royal Oaks. They were called the 15450s, which are the ones that I have. They are now going to be the 15550. 37mm, either in stainless steel or rose gold, of course, or a combination of the two. A bunch of stunning new releases. There are a couple shown up here. You have your white, your classic AP blue, your gray dial, and there's this new icy baby blue that I love so much. It is a stunning blue that is actually similar to, and I was told, the same blue as that new 34mm Royal Oak with that frosted white gold baby blue dial. It is now coming out on this new 37mm, which is beautiful. It's just this icy baby sky blue, and it looks beautiful on the stainless steel. If you look closely at the logo change that I mentioned, on my 15450s on the dial where it says Audemars Piguet on the top, there's a shadow that used to be there on the 15450s. On these new versions, that shadow is no longer there, so it's a little more blended in, a little more aesthetically pleasing, a lot prettier and cleaner, I think. And at the bottom of the dial as well, on the 15450s, they used to say automatic on the bottom, which cut off the tapisserie and cut off the cleanliness the sharpness of the dial. These new ones no longer say automatic, so it's much cleaner, much icier, much prettier, I think, which is a shame because my 15450s say automatic, but whatever. Anyways, it does have that tapered bracelet along the side too. There are some new rose gold versions as well. They have the two-toned that was carried over in the rose gold and stainless steel white dial, the full rose gold version with the white dial with the diamond bezel, and there's this new version which I actually have not seen yet. It's a rose gold diamond bezel green dial. It looks like a pretty deep green. It's not that bright green that made all the craze for APs. It's not like a bright green. It's more of a muted emerald green. Yeah, pretty. I would do it without the diamond bezel, but albeit still nice. All in all, I was pretty impressed with these new 37mm models, these new 15550s. They look absolutely beautiful. Some are the same old colorways, some new colorways like the green and the baby blue. The baby blue, I think, will take the star of this announcement, and I have my eye on that baby blue. It is just such a stunning combo with the stainless steel specifically, and on a 37mm, the perfect size personally for me. I think AP did a great job at these new iterations of the 37mm, the 15550 now. Great colors, great size, cleaner logo, cleaner dial. They kind of knocked it out of the park with these new 37mm. Okay, next we're gonna move on to the chronographs that were released. They are all 41mm, so unfortunately not for me because they're too big, but they are beautiful new releases. So we're gonna start off with the stainless steel ones. You have your black dial, white dial, blue, so all three are staple colors, and there's a new chronograph color which is a green. It's a stunning green. I was shown this piece in the rose gold version with the green dial, but I think it looks much better on the stainless steel. They look great on both, but this green is a smoky green. It has a bit of a teal hue to it, so it's not that bright green that was released last year that was all the craze. It's more of a smokier, deeper, almost emerald with a hint of teal green. And there are also the rose gold versions, which come in blue, black, white, and green. So the same ones that come in the stainless steel will also be offered in the rose gold as well. But new chronographs, and then as well as 3 chronographs that will come on the alligator leather straps as well. So the black, the blue, and the green. The strap version does not come in the white. My favorite of the bunch would probably be the green, just because it's different, it's new. This green is all the hype and all the craze now, as we all know, but this green is very different. It's not that bright green. That's not like a Rolex green. It's not so in your face. It's a lot more muted, a lot more subtle, smokier, and I really like it personally. And of course, they all do say that 50th anniversary on the case back on the rotor. Okay, next we're gonna move on to the hot topic of all, and it is the jumbos, the new jumbos for this year, for the 50th anniversary. There are 4 new jumbos, or technically 3-ish, with one that was kind of brought back, but technically 4. And again to note, since these are new calibers and new movements for the 50th anniversary, the jumbos are no longer the 15202, they are now known as the 16202. So we're gonna start off with my favorite jumbo of the bunch, my favorite Royal Oak, I'd even say, of this 50th anniversary release. It made quite the headlines when rumors and photos and news of it dropped, and seeing this piece in person, my jaw absolutely dropped. I was so head over heels. I was completely in love. It is hands down my favorite Royal Oak of this release. It is the yellow gold jumbo. So first of all, if you're not familiar with a jumbo, jumbo is just the term that AP gives to their 39mm Royal Oaks that are not ultra thin but extra thin. They do have a thinner case, not quite ultra thin but extra thin they call it, and they come in different metals, so whether they be yellow gold, platinum, white gold, stainless steel, etc. But this piece in particular is a 39mm jumbo extra thin yellow gold with a yellow gold smoked dial. It is so beautiful. I mean, there's not much like it. It is very different, and I will give AP so much applause for that, because this piece, it's different. It was something that I don't think anybody really expected. It has just this stunning yellow gold dial that kind of smokes out into a black ring along the case, along the dial. It's not quite a sunburst. I was calling it sunburst in the beginning, but I forget that the sunburst effect, especially for the flying tourbillon that my husband just got, it starts from the tourbillon cage, and then in this case it's not quite a sunburst, but it is smoky. It's a yellow gold dial that just smokes out into black along the case, along the outskirts of the dial, closer to the bezel. And usually yellow and black personally are not a really good combo, especially for a watch, but they make it work so well, just because if you see this watch in person, it's not quite a yellow gold. It's not very yellow. It's not very in your face. It's a dull, muted, very wearable yellow gold. It's I don't even know how to describe it. It's just such a stunning piece. Photos really don't do it justice, just because under different lighting, the watch, especially the yellow gold, can look so different. Sometimes it can look very yellow, sometimes it can look a little washed out, but this piece, it's so beautiful. I'm usually not one for yellow gold watches. If it is a yellow gold watch, I'm very picky, just because it has to be the right shade of yellow. It has to work for me, especially because I already have a very golden olive skin tone, so I have to be careful of watches that may wash out on my skin. And there's something about this yellow gold jumbo where that shade of yellow with the smoky black, it just reminds me of honey. It just looks so yummy and delicious almost, but it really does remind me of honey. And maybe it's the yellow and black that it reminds me of a bumblebee. I don't know. It's beautiful, you guys. I'm in love. Hands down, my favorite piece of this collection. Alright, next we have one of the more colorful jumbos, which is the green jumbo. So technically, if you guys have been following AP, this green jumbo isn't quite new. It was released last year with a bunch of green Royal Oaks that were all together, which included a chrono, this same green jumbo, and etc. So they kind of brought it back, except that last year all the green Royal Oaks were extremely hard to get. They were very limited edition. They were, I don't even know how many, like I think one of them was one of 50. But this green one was brought back. So it's a 39mm platinum jumbo. So the entire case, bracelet, it's platinum, so very heavy. It's a gradient dial where it's a smoky green dial that just fades into a black. But what's very special about this piece is that it does not have a tapisserie. So there's no tapisserie, which AP is famous for, all the Royal Oaks. It just is a flat, smooth dial, they call it. It looks interesting with the green, a little mysterious. This green is a little brighter, as I said, than the new green that we saw for the chronographs in the 550s. So this green is the green that's much brighter, as I said. But I think it's a good balance because it is smoky. It kind of just fades out into this black, and the smooth dial balances it. Not sure how I would like it if it was a tapisserie, but can't lie that I do like it that it is smooth and flat. This jumbo will definitely be one of the hot pieces, I'm sure, for this release, especially because it is 50th anniversary, so it'll make it that extra special. Stunning piece. I like it. I love green. I know that green's all the hype right now, and I think this piece does it really well, especially with the platinum. Then we have the rose gold jumbo with the smoked gray dial. So it's a bit of like a taupey, smoky gray, in between gray and brown. And I like the balance with the rose gold. It makes it a little warmer. I'm pretty sure if it came on stainless steel or white gold or platinum, I wouldn't love it, just because it would feel a little too cool toned, too sterile even. I don't know, just too washed out. I do like it with the rose gold a lot. It balances it, gives it a nice warmth to it. A stunning piece, and something I think is very AP. I think this new iteration of the jumbo, it's a colorway and a combo that is very AP, something that AP has done before. So something nice and familiar. And lastly, we have the jumbo that everybody knows. It's the blue jumbo, the AP blue, not the icy blue, but the AP blue that's more of a navy blue. 39mm stainless steel jumbo. I'd say it's the same thing as the 15202, even though it is now the 16202. Only difference, again, as I said, the tapered bracelet along the side, as well as the 50th anniversary on the rotor on the back, and a new movement and caliber. But I think it's a great addition for people who don't yet have the blue jumbo, who can now shoot their shot and aim for the 50th anniversary blue jumbo. A staple at AP Blue Royal Oak. We know the deal. You can't get more classic, more iconic than that. Okay, moving on, we have a set of very blingy watches. We have the new Royal Oak Offshores. So if you're not familiar with the Offshores, they are Royal Oaks, but they're Royal Oak Offshore divers. So they're the diver version of the Royal Oak. A little more robust looking, a little sturdier, thicker, and sportier. They don't work for my wrist size because they tend to be very big and they tend to be very chunky. My husband has the green Offshore, which I think is beautiful, but they just don't work for me. But these new additions are interesting. They're all blingy. They all have diamonds in them. They're just about the same watch, just with different levels of diamonds. They're all 43mm Offshores with white gold. And these are Offshore chronographs, by the way. So you have the version with the black dial and the black rubber strap with just diamonds in the bezel. So that's probably the lowest level of diamonds you can get for the 50th anniversary, and you move up in diamonds for the next few versions. So you start off with diamonds in just the bezel, and then you have the next version with diamonds in the bezel as well as in the case and the lugs and the crown guards. And then you have the version with the black strap, but there are diamonds in the bezel, case, lugs, crown guards, as well as the dial itself. And then lastly, you have the full diamond version, which is just diamonds galore for the Offshore. Something that's not quite my taste, but for the person who likes diamonds, I think this is an interesting move just because Offshores speak very sporty, they speak very robust, very hefty. So I think the diamonds add an interesting contrasting factor here. They make it a little more dressy even, and blingier for sure. Okay, we're now going to move on to the more complicated watches. We have coming up the new Jumbo Extra Thin Openworked. So they have a new caliber, a new movement, and these are jumbo, so they are 39mm extra thin, as I said, and they come in both the stainless steel version and the rose gold version. So Openworked is just the term that AP uses for what we commonly know as skeleton watches, but AP was the first one who actually invented or made famous that trend or that look of the skeleton. It's just known as the Openworked at AP. The stainless steel one I think is absolutely stunning. There's something to say about a stainless steel Openworked or a white gold or a platinum Openworked, just because that white on white, it just, even though it blends in and all looks very monotone, it looks very clean at the same time. I love the look of the stainless steel one. The rose gold one is also stunning. I'm just not too much of a fan of the black that's in the case. There's much more contrast going on there, so much better for legibility per se, but I do like the stainless steel one a lot. Personally though, I'm not a big fan of Openworked just because I find them not so legible. But then again, people say if you have a skeleton, if you have an Openworked, you're not really using the watch to tell time, which I understand that, but I like to use my watch to tell time, so personally, this isn't my type of watch, but I do think the stainless steel one is a stunning, stunning piece. And next of the bunch, moving on to more complicated watches, we have the new flying tourbillons. So there are 3 new flying tourbillons for the 50th anniversary. There is the stainless steel one, which comes on a 41mm stainless steel. It has a blue smoky dial that just smokes out into a black ring. And if you actually watched my last video, which you definitely should take a look, my husband actually picked up his 41mm flying tourbillon stainless steel, which is the older version of this 50th anniversary. But as I mentioned in that video, his version is the last version that's made with the true blue sunburst. So it is also blue, but if you notice, the sunburst will radiate from the tourbillon cage, whereas this one, as I said, is just gradient from the center of the dial and it smokes out. It's a different effect. One is a true sunburst, one is more of a smoked out version, depends which look you like. But from now on, if I'm correct, AP will not be making the sunbursts for the flying tourbillons at least. So this new flying tourbillon has that same blue, or actually a different blue. It's a little more of a smoky, deep blue, but still stunning. Then you have the rose gold version, same thing, just in rose gold. And then lastly, you have the titanium version, which is just a flat blue dial. It is not tapisserie. It is a very neutral gray blue. It looks almost sanded out. Flying tourbillon cage on the bottom, and given that it's titanium, it's very lightweight as well. So 3 new additions to the flying tourbillons. I think they're stunning. I do think that if I had the choice, I would still choose the last edition of the flying tourbillon that my husband got, just because I like that sunburst effect a little better. Alright, and lastly on this list of 50th anniversary Royal Oaks, we have the Openworked Flying Tourbillon. So it is AP's first ever Openworked Flying Tourbillon. So it combines both the Openworked plus the Flying Tourbillon aspect. So the dial is pretty sick. It is a 41mm stainless steel. So there's a lot going on in the dial, a lot. But in a good way, I think. It looks pretty sick, to be honest. So this piece is actually a novelty piece. The entire dial, not gonna lie, it's not very legible. It's, again, as I said, if you're gonna get a skeleton, if you're gonna get an Openworked, you're not gonna really use it to tell time. But it's a beautiful piece to look at and to admire. The uniformity of it, the monotone look of it, the all stainless steel, the all gray, all white look of it, I think that there's something to say about it. It works. It blends so well. And I love the little pink sapphire at the top at the 12 o'clock above Audemars Piguet. I think it's a nice little touch that provides a little bit of contrast and something to look for. It's a very special piece. It's AP's first ever Openworked Flying Tourbillon. I didn't think it would be something that would wow me, but I do have to say there's something about the uniformity, about the ultra complexion of the piece, about the illegibility of the dial that is very much appreciated. It looks complicated, but in a wonderful way, if that makes sense. It's a stunning piece, and this is actually my husband's favorite piece of the bunch of this release for the 50th anniversary. Alright, and that concludes our roundup of the 50th anniversary Royal Oaks for AP. All the releases, unless I missed something, but all the releases that we've seen so far up until this point. As I mentioned and showed you guys, I saw some of these pieces at my private appointment. I picked out my favorites of the bunch that I'd love to add to my collection, so let's see if they come sometime this year, just because, as I said, this is the 50th anniversary, meaning all the pieces that will be offered and made this year will say 50th anniversary on the rotor on the back. Other than that, the pieces that will be offered next year and the year after will not say the 50th anniversary, just because it won't be the 50th anniversary. And with that in mind, some of these pieces will be rolling pieces. They will not be pieces that will be only offered this year. So keep that in mind, like the yellow gold one. That will be a piece that will move forward, that will be offered in 2023, 24, or for however long AP decides to offer them. But the pieces that are made, allocated, and offered to clients this year will say the 50th anniversary on the back. So that's what makes them a little more special. My personal favorites were the 37mm 15550 in the stainless steel with the icy baby blue dial. It is such a stunning piece. I've been after and eyeing and waiting for the 34mm for a while with the frosted white gold, but between the two I would definitely choose the 37mm more, just because I could live without the frosted white gold effect. And between a 34 and a 37, if you guys watch my channel, you guys know that I like my bigger watches. 34 is a great size, but I much prefer the 37. It's my sweet spot, my personal favorite size for a Royal Oak. So that 15550 in the baby blue, love it. And I also love, of course, my favorite of the bunch is the yellow gold jumbo. So that 39mm extra thin jumbo in yellow gold with that smoky yellow dial. A beautiful piece, hands down my favorite release so far of the 50th anniversary Royal Oaks. So those are my two favorites. Let me know down in the comments below which of the bunch is your favorite Royal Oak from this release for the 50th anniversary. Let me know your thoughts, pieces that you were amazed by, pieces that you didn't even expect, that caught you by surprise. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a cute little thumbs up. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe for more content and more watch videos. Make sure to follow me on Instagram for all updates. And thank you guys so much for watching. Talk to you soon.